Good morning to the citizens of Douglas County and to the Board of Commissioners. Welcome to our October 5th, 2021 Commission meeting. This is our legislative meeting today. Certainly, Board of Commissioners, I've called to order and would love to start with our roll call just to verify your presence this morning. And I know you are here visually, but still want to just do that as a practice until this pandemic ends. I'll start with District 1 Commissioner Henry Mitchell III.
Present.
District 2 and Vice Chairman Kelly Robinson.
Present.
District 3 Commissioner Tarenia Carthen.
Present.
District 4 Commissioner Ann Jones-Guider.
Present.
And Chairman Ramona Jackson-Jones, present. Board of Commissioners, we do have a quorum. We will start this morning, Board of Commissioners. We have the honor and the pleasure to have with us this morning Pastor Brian Berryhill of Heritage Baptist Church, and we are just honored for his presence this morning as he grace our county with prayer. And after the prayer from Pastor Berryhill, Board of Commissioners, I ask you to please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Good morning, Pastor.
Good morning.
And thank you for being here.
Let us pray.
Amen.
Dear Lord and Heavenly Father, we come to you again this morning. So thankful, Lord, that we can call on your name, Lord, that we can come boldly to the throne of grace and obtain mercy and help in a time of trouble. Lord, we pray, Lord, this morning, Lord, for this meeting, the agenda that's before them. Lord, while I don't know everything on it, Lord, nothing's took you by surprise this morning. And I just pray, Lord, for our county. I pray for everyone here that, Lord, they'd be in unity one with another. Help us, Lord, to be a light in this community. Help us, Lord, to do those things that's pleasing, Lord, in your sight. And, Lord, I pray that, Lord, you'd show us the error of our ways, that we'd ever walk before you and be pleasing and do that's right before your eyes. We ask all these things. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, thank you, Pastor Berryhill, for wonderful prayer this morning. We appreciate you and thank you again for coming in. Board of Commissioners, we'll start this morning with our public comment. Clerk, do we have anyone sign up for public comment?
No, ma'am, we did not.
Okay. Being that we have no one sign up this morning, thank you. We will move on to the approval of the minutes. Board of Commissioners, you have the commission meeting minutes of September 14, 2021, our work session minutes of September 13, 2021, and our executive session meeting minutes of September 13, 2021. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections that need to be made, Board?
No, ma'am.
Being none, the minutes stand approved. We're going to move on, Board of Commissioners. We have a proclamation this morning. The proclamation is proclaiming the week of October 3rd through 9th, 2021 as Fire Prevention Week in Douglas County, and our own Fire Chief, Roderick Jolie, that is here to read the proclamation. Do you have the proclamation? There you go. Welcome, and thank you so much this morning, Fire Chief, for reading our proclamation to allow the Board of Commissioners to decide.
Good morning. I'd like to say good morning to our citizens and to our excellent county leaders, chairman, and our Board of Commissioners. I have a little bit of sinuses, so I brought Ms. Paula Austin to help me out. But before she come up, I'd like to just say a couple words. Every opportunity we look forward to, our mission statement is to prevent fires from happening. We do that through education, and it affects our emergency response. And today I brought 2 smoke detectors, and they all look the same. Of course, we're getting credit for this. Everybody's here in this education piece. They look the same, but there's something wrong with one of them. One of them does not have a working battery in it, and if we go to sound the alarm, nothing will happen. But the one with the properly working smoke alarm battery, if I push the button, so that's our education piece this morning is when the alarm beep, you need to come to your feet and exit the building. So that's the education piece, and we'll get credit for that for ISO. Okay, I'd like to say that this all started 140 years ago. It's called the Great Chicago Fire, and Miss O'Leary was in a barn with a cow, and for some reason, a fire started. And when that fire started, it spread it throughout Chicago. And what happened was, they lost 300 people, 100,000 was displaced. But what's exciting about it is building codes, prevention methods, all that came out of that 140 years ago. And I'm just so thankful that we have a leadership team on the Board of Commissioners that are allowing us to do the things we need to do to have prevention. When I look at facilities, I look at Chairman Jones and Commissioner Robinson as they push forth on Station 4 and Station 9. That's that preventive piece. When I look at facilities, that they take care of that. Operationally, Ms. Jones, you're looking out for the personnel as well. And then when I look at administration, Commissioner Mitchell and Commissioner Carthorne is making sure we have a strong leadership administrative team to take care of prevention needs. So without further ado, we're going to have Ms. Paula come up and do the proclamation.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Board of Commissioners, Douglas County, Georgia. Whereas Douglas County government is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting our state, and whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at greatest risk from fire, and whereas home fires killed more than 2,770 people in the United States in 2019, according to the National Fire Protection Association, NFPA. And fire departments in the United States responded to 339,500 home fires. And whereas smoke alarms sense smoke well before you can, alerting you to danger in the event of fire, in which you may have as little as 2 minutes to escape safely. And whereas working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires in half. And whereas Douglas County residents should be sure everyone in the home understands the sounds of the alarms and knows how to respond. And whereas Douglas County residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. And whereas Douglas County residents will make sure their smoke and CO alarms meet the needs of all their family members, including those with sensory or physical disabilities. And whereas Douglas County's first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas Douglas County residents who are responsive to public education measures are better able to take personal steps to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes. And whereas the 2021 Fire Prevention Week theme, Learn the Sounds of Fire Safety, effectively serves to remind us it is important to learn the different sounds of smoke and carbon monoxide alarms. Therefore, we, the Douglas County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim October 3rd through the 9th, 2021, as Fire Prevention Week throughout Douglas County, Georgia. And we urge all the people of Douglas County to learn the sounds of fire safety for Fire Prevention Week 2021, and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of the Douglas County Fire Department. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Paula. And again, thank you so much, Fire Chief. I love the message, learn the sound of fire safety. When you hear the beep, get on your feet. That's a good one. Thank you so much. Board of Commissioners, you have heard this proclamation regarding proclaiming the week of October 3rd through 9th, Fire Prevention Week in Douglas County. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, Board? We have a motion and a second. Please prepare to cast your votes. We have a 5-0 unanimous vote, Board of Commissioners, and the motion carries. Again, we'd like to thank you, Fire Chief, and also Ms. Paula for coming in today, and also all the great things that are happening at our fire department to protect our citizens here in Douglas County. Great job, big grants. Everything is just going well, so thank you all for your massive body of work that you do here in this county. It is not taken lightly. Thank you. All right, new business, Board of Commissioners. We're going to move on to tab number 5. Tab number 5 is appointment of Herschel Clark to the Douglas County Board of Assessors to fill an unexpired term effectively. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion, Board? I made a mistake and said effectively. I meant to say immediately. So, of course, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Please prepare to cast your votes. We have a 5-0 unanimous vote, Board of Commissioners, and the motion carries. Thank you. We're going to move on to our tab number 6, appointment of Yvonne Shaw to the Douglas County Animal Control Advisory Board to fill an unexpired term effective immediately. Board of Commissioners, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? We have a motion and a second. Please prepare to cast your votes. Board of Commissioners, we have a 5-0 unanimous vote, and the motion carries. We're going to move on to tab number 6. I think I just finished 6.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to move on to our consent agenda.
Right.
And Board, I'm going to just revert back to what I've done in the past, is just to read all the items. It won't take that long, certainly at your pleasure, just so we can make sure that our citizens are aware if there are any changes or not. If sometimes changes occur, and we just want to make sure that we are very transparent. Board of Commissioners, tab number 7, please be advised that the consent agenda, the items are subject to final legal review. Tab number 7 is authorization to purchase 2 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee vehicles for the District Attorney's Office for a total cost of $71,770 to be funded from the contingency funds. Tab number 8 is authorization to accept the fiscal year 20 OJJDP Delinquency Prevention Grant Program in the amount of $30,000 to provide the service of the Strengthening Families Program, amend the budget, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents. There is no match required. Tab number 9 is approval of the purchasing card, P-card program, utilizing the cooperative purchasing agreement through the state of Georgia's contract with Bank of America. Tab number 10 is approval of the 2022 Douglas County Employee Benefits offerings as recommended by the Douglas County Benefits Committee, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents. Tab number 11 is authorization to approve an employment agreement with Lynn Withington as a real property consultant for the appraisal department, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents. Tab number 12 is authorization to approve the 2022 schedule for work sessions, commission meetings, planning and zoning board meetings, and various hearings. Tab number 13 is authorization to renew an agreement between the Douglas County Sheriff's Office and Control Concept for the period of October 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2022 for $11,640 for building management system, preventive maintenance, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents subject to final legal review. Tab number 14 is certificate of preliminary plat approval for the East Villages at St. Andrews. Tab number 15 is approval of the Douglas County HVAC revitalization program to be funded through the ARPA grant funding in the total amount of $744,000 to be split into 2 years, year 1 at $489,750 and year 2 at $254,250. Tab number 16 is authorization to enter into an MOU for grant writing services with Core Group of Georgia in the amount of $15,000 to be funded through grant contingency funding, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents. And Board of Commissioners, finally, tab number 17 is authorization to approve a MOU with the Georgia Department of Driver Services, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents. Board of Commissioners, that concludes our consent agendas. Do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Vice Chairman Robinson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will be very quick on this. I wanted to go to number 15. Madam Chair, is Senior Director James Worthington out there?
He is. Senior Director, would you please come forward? Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome. I'll be very brief. Again, we're in consent agenda, but we want to make sure we bring administrative clarity to our HVAC revitalization program. Can you speak to that? And obviously, we started this earlier this year. Really, probably 2 years ago, we're revamping all of our lighting and plumbing, et cetera. And this is phase 2, which is we're getting to the structurals, the HVACs. Can you tell us about this program and talk about 2.0 that we started earlier this year and how they're reconciled, please?
Certainly. So Douglas County has a large number of antiquated HVAC components. This program will start off with year 1, replacing 25 existing HVAC units that are currently at least 20 years old. Those go from about 20 to 26 years old at this time. Year 2, we'll do 23 more, which will go from 15 years to 20 years old. And then it also includes a large number of components replacements in this courthouse and in the jail. Now, mostly in the courthouse and the jail is pertaining to chiller components and controls of both the chillers, the thermostats and things that are in offices. Like in this building, they're pneumatic. That's kind of an old way to do things. Everything's switched over to digital. Those things will be upgraded over to digital controls. We've had a lot of trouble getting parts for pneumatic controls just because they're not in use anymore. So this system is 23 years old in the courthouse. If we lose any of these pumps currently, we'll lose entire floors of HVAC throughout the courthouse. So that's what we're trying to prevent. Also, we'll be including some upgrades to software in the jail, and then we'll be installing UV disinfection in the HVAC components through the courthouse. Those will eliminate bacteria, COVID, and that will cover the whole courthouse.
Great. So again, one more time, this is a once in a lifetime that we got a chance to sort of make up historical underinvestment in our maintenance and operations, our M&O. We had a conversation yesterday during the work session whereby it was initially proposed by the administration to take this money out of contingency. I think the board, after a very good consideration, thought that was more appropriate to take it out of this ARP money to catch up. Now, what is our plans going forward that once we do this one-time cleanup, bring these up to speed? Are you coming out with a plan to maintain things going forward, everything that's, 15 years or less? How will you do that going forward?
So when this is complete, we'll have everything, all of the HVAC units will be 15 years old or less. And 15 years, according to ASHRAE, which is who does a lot of the rules and regulations for heating and air, 15 years kind of is end of life for a lot of the components we use. And so that's kind of our goal, is to not exceed that throughout the future. And to handle that, we'll be putting in a budgetary number each year to cover that amount, whatever those numbers may be. Now, some years, particularly in the beginning, that budgetary number will be more than what we need that particular year, but it'll build into a fund that we can cover the full cost. Because essentially, like if we do all of this now, 15 years from now, we'll be hit with another large amount to replace all of this stuff. And that's what that fund will be set to cover.
Right. But hopefully we won't have another 100-year pandemic in 15 years that we get to benefit from this. So two more things, then I'm going to keep this moving because this is going to be a quick meeting. To our Assistant County Administrator, can you validate for us publicly that the use of the ARP money for this particular initiative is appropriate?
Yes, Vice Chairman Robinson, yes, we can use ARP money for this fund, for this type of project. There is an area in ARP that allows for any lost revenue that's been accumulated by the county. You can use that for any general services for county government.
Okay.
So this would fall under that provision.
So general funds, it makes up so the historical stuff, we can use it however we want to with discretion.
That's correct.
But it makes sense, Madam Chair, something you and I have talked about, and all of us for the most part, is cleaning up our buildings, cleaning up the air, cleaning up, making it. So to that point, and I did hear you say COVID, so is it going to be a higher end flow of air and filters? You know, that's not what I do. Can you explain that to the public,
So,
please?
There's two different components to that. You can do improved air filters, and they have different ratings. Currently, a lot of our older equipment wouldn't be able to handle any more restrictive filters that would trap those type of particles. So we will be able to look into that for buildings throughout the county. For the courthouse itself, we're looking at doing UV protection. It's within the air handlers, and it's basically ultraviolet light that kills bacteria and viruses as they pass through. That's not a new technology. It's used, we use it in pools currently. It's used in a lot of water filtration and all, but, so it will be considered. It will
Great.
definitely be done in the courthouse with certainty.
I appreciate that. And again, we're sensitive that this ARP money, the American Recovery Plan money, is time sensitive. But we have this year, next year, and then we have a total of 3 years to spend it all. So to see the administration moving forward on as far as at least getting things encumbered, you may not have it be built this year, but we have to acknowledge that, okay, guys, if we said we had a need, we've been given this money, if we don't respond on it or use it, then obviously we know they can claw it back, using Madam Guyder's term, they'll claw it back and give it to somebody else. So to that point, I know that this is just appropriations. We've had firms come out before talking about this regarding HVACs as well as what I want to call it solar. We're not pursuing the solar, but we are pursuing the HVAC, so I trust administratively you're going to bring back that firm to hear this, and we can talk about this, because before we didn't have any appropriations. Is that accurate?
So this will be bid out into as few of scopes of work as possible. If we can do it in one, that's wonderful, but I'm not certain that one company can cover everything from the controls to the chillers to the HVAC, because it's kind of a broad scope of what we're doing. If we can do that, we will handle it in that direction. If not, we'll do it in as few scopes as possible, where one does all of the chiller components and one does all of the, I'll say, standard HVAC units.
All right, so that's a little bit different than what our understanding was. So what I like to see as a condition of this, that we need to be educated on this, right? Because now we're subdividing it. So can you set up a presentation for us to be educated on the difference of these, please?
Sure.
All right, so Assistant County Administrator, are you clear that we're asking for, to be educated by somebody out there in the community regarding the separation of these two, and then the board at that point will determine how we bid this out? Are we clear?
Yes, Vice Chairman Robinson, I will make sure to relay that to the county administrator as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Chair, I yield.
Okay, thank you so much,
Madam
Vice
Chair.
Chairman. Okay.
Madam Chair.
Oh, okay. I heard a voice, I just thought,
she
a
asked for it.
female voice. Commissioner Guider, you have the floor.
Thank you, Director Worthington. This whole project that you were just talking about is, the price tag, I believe you said around $700,000.
$744,000
Okay.
over 2 years.
My memory's not as good as I thought it was. But I wanted you to elaborate on item number 17, the driver's services building that will be going up very soon at right in front of the jail, really. So could you elaborate on what part the county is doing and what part the state is doing?
So there's a memorandum of understanding between the Douglas County and the Department of Driver Services, basically Douglas County will be responsible for the land purchase, which is already complete, and all of the site work, which would be your clearing, grading, erosion control, stormwater, curb and gutter, and then kind of padding out the site, and then the driver services will come in and build the building, and they'll do the asphalt. So they'll complete the building, they'll man the building and operate the building, but we're responsible for turning over a site that is ready to have the building built on.
And the estimated time of completion?
The plans are set to be finalized within a month, and I
The
would.
plans for the building?
Correct.
Okay.
And that's handled not through Douglas County, that's handled through Department of Driver Services. They have their own architects and engineers working on this. But we're expecting those to be completed within a month, and then we'll have to go out to bid for our portion, which is all of the site work. Then we'll turn the project over to the Driver Services, and they'll build the building. I would expect around a year. Each component, our portion may take 3 to 6 months, their portion may take 6 to 9 months, but they may overlap in the middle.
Yeah.
It's kind of a unique scenario to have two different entities
Yeah.
handling portions of it, so it will be a little bit interesting in the
And we
middle.
want to acknowledge all the help that we received from all of our legislators and the governor, and this is going to be a very good asset for Douglas County. Those that have to renew their driver's license and everything will not have to go to Carrollton or wherever. They'll be able to do it right here in Douglas County, so that this is a long time coming, and I commend the chairman for taking the steering wheel on this one. So thank you for what you've done too. And I appreciate what you've said here this morning, and thank you.
Thank
I
you.
yield back.
Okay, thank you so much. Commissioner Mitchell?
Yes,
Thank you.
just a couple,
Commissioner
Jane. So back to that portion of the DDS. So how long can the citizens of Douglas County and others kind of anticipate that that will be up and running? 6 months to a year from now, 2 years, or what's that completion date?
I would expect somewhere around a year from now.
A year from now, so 12 months.
Yes, sir.
Good. And I'm assuming, not assuming, but I know you guys are working closely with the state and assuring kind of what their needs are, and assuring that our portion, the infrastructure, is done in a timely setting, so that when they're ready to go, we won't be the holdup.
Sure, absolutely. So we're working with both Driver Services and the Georgia State Properties Commission. So we've all got representatives. We're meeting bi-weekly now, and kind of making sure all of the wrinkles are ironed out, so, and everybody's needs are met.
Got it, because we want this transaction, to be kind of really smooth, with an easy transition of them getting what they need done prior to, at least we're doing our portion, prior to them needing to get their portion done, so that within 12 months, 18 months, I'll be realistic, that these guys will be ready to be in operational. And if I heard you correctly, the operational side of this will not be a burden or a demand on our budget. It'll be strictly all state, correct?
That's correct.
Got it. And would love to see, what the numbers are, but I'm not concerned, because this is not mine to pay for an operation. The other item I want to ask you about, item number 15, that the aquatic center HVAC, will that be included in this whole makeup? Because you mentioned kind of all the buildings, but then you kind of keep coming back to the county building. I just want to make sure, kind of, are we looking at all HVACs or specific HVACs, or help me understand that?
So for this project, I'm specifically looking at age of products.
You said
So
age?
The age.
Okay.
So I'm only looking at items 15 years and older.
Okay.
So any building in the county that has something that meets that, we will be looking at, and we'll take
Got it.
care of. That may be, some buildings may have 5 units in it, some may have 1, but we're strictly going by age, trying to get rid of all the old antiquated materials.
Got it. So the magic number is 15. So if
Correct.
your HVAC is somehow at 15 years old, because I would say, for instance, like the tax commissioner's office, or building, that is not a
Correct.
15-year-old unit.
Correct.
Got it. So that's kind of the measuring stick, is those that are 15 years or older is where we'll actually start taking a hard look at and making the adjustments or replacing or doing.
It's replacements is what the plan is, anything, because basically right now, we're in the 15 to, I think the oldest we have is 26 years old. So we're in the 15 to 26-year-old range, and we'll be replacing those with newer, more efficient units.
Got it. And then we'll get get in front of the curve of those units. And while doing this, if I heard you correctly, we'll be also reassuring that for this virus that kind of mutates, God knows where, we'll have the various things in play to fix and avoid that type of air circulation of that type of a virus situation, I guess.
We will be doing UV protection throughout the courthouse and then improved filter protection in the other buildings.
Okay.
So the filter is a filter media. They're rated basically from like dust all the way up to bacteria and everything in between, mold, spores, all this. But the more dense the filter media gets, the more protection you get, the more strain it puts on the fan motors and the less air moving. So you can't just drop those in old units. A lot of times they'll cause them to freeze up or whatever because they're not moving enough air. So we'll definitely be looking into that, and hopefully we'll be able to do that on all of the new units.
Right. And last but not least, so let's go back to those units that are less than 15 years old. Are we at least taking a look at those guys to at least put, whether it's filters or whatever the case may be, to help with this potential spread of this, who knows what virus number will be upon at that given time?
We can look at those and do whatever the units will handle.
Understood, yes.
That makes sense. So
Right, yes.
If it'll work, we'll do it. If the unit can't handle it, we won't be.
My main concern was still to go back to those that are less than 15 years old.
Sure.
To take a look at those guys and not just leave them out there and say, well, you're not old enough to even take a look at you when it comes to this virus.
Sure.
So we will, I guess, if I'm hearing you correctly.
Yeah, we can definitely include that. We can look into that.
Okay, good enough. All right, I yield back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much,
Madam
Commissioner
Chair.
Mitchell. Commissioner Carthen, you have the floor.
Okay.
This is your special day.
That's right.
Senior
I want
Director.
you to see I'm smiling.
So, Director Worthington, I want to go back to something that Commissioner Mitchell prompted, which was the cost of the DDS. So we do have a resolution, although we did not read it, it is in the package, and it states at number 13 that additional costs above the $3.4 million, which is what the estimated construction cost, I'm assuming, is for the DDS?
That's correct. So the state was allotted $3.4 million through their bonds to build the building.
Okay.
They were looking for extra. The original understanding was we would cover anything beyond that. And that was kind of an open-ended. So we, Ms. Stewart Stanley helped me out on that one and worked through that with their attorneys and legal counsel to come to that agreement.
Wonderful. So then I will direct this question to you, Ms. Stanley. So what is the amount that Douglas County will be responsible for, including what we've already spent to acquire the site?
Okay. So when, in our discussions, myself, the county administrator, and Director Worthington, in our discussions with the driver's license services and the State Properties Commission, one of the things that they were stating is that we had to have some language in the agreement for overages. And so, as a good faith effort, we looked at the amount, and what we were proposing to the board is to look at no more than 5% for overages. And of course, they have to come with us and let us know that amount prior to anything, happening. So it was just a good faith effort to make sure that we are, showing that we want the driver's license services placed in case there are some overages. But we have made it very clear that, the county's position is to stay within the $3.4 million.
So then, I do understand that it is the state who is managing the project. So will your team, Mr. Worthington, at least be at the table to kind of help them to stay within that 3.4 so that Douglas County doesn't have to put forth anymore, because I think already we've put forth about 600,000 to acquire the land. Is that correct?
650.
correct.
Was it 650?
It was
650,000?
6.
6 on the,
No,
okay.
I think it was 6.
Yeah.
6, okay.
Sounds
But that doesn't include the infrastructure that we will.
Correct.
Right, okay. So although we are excited that this is coming, we didn't anticipate this in our budget. And so we just want to make sure that our appropriations are, in good state
Sure.
as we move forward into our next budget cycle. We do know we have a lot of constitutional officers and directors out there in DOT who are going to come and ask us to put forth a lot in the budget to get things done. So we just want to make sure that we're appropriating correctly, and that Director Stewart, Stanley, we're putting aside what we may need, but not to exceed a certain amount, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
All right. Thank you. And with that, I yield, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Carter. Yeah, point of order, you have. Mhm. Yeah. Yes, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. All right, real quick, to Madam Carthen's point, and this is just for the record, so what you said, 5% of, what, 3.4 million and
It's 170,000.
$170,000. You have that set aside where? Are you going to take it out of
I
a
don't have
budget?
that
You take it
answer.
out, I mean, this is what, to that point, you need to mark this today. Where were y'all going to take that from? And this is where sometimes we get caught on contingency, but we can anticipate this. This is not an unanticipated. We know this was coming. I'm just making a point. There's some kind of, by the time we come back around, y'all work this out as an administration. Where are you going to take this from? You need to go ahead and plan for it. If you don't have to use it, great. But what we don't want to do is fill up the coffers for all the ass that's about to come, and then we've got this outstanding and we get squeezed. So can we just do, Madam Chair, can you make sure that the administration that they mark this as an actual line item inside this budget? So whatever it was, the land costs, the construction costs and overages, let's do it like a normal project. Let's not do this like the courthouse where it just grew every cycle, Madam Chair. Every year we came in, that courthouse and the expansion of it just got away from us, right? Because we just we didn't lay out a real project schedule. So can we ensure that, Senior Director,
Sure.
please?
Sure, we'll definitely do
Yes,
that.
we can.
Just point of clarity.
Okay.
I yield. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. I believe if my memory serves me correctly, we have already earmarked $675,000. I see our Finance Director nodding. Is that correct, Finance Director? If you could come up. 50, I'm-
And it was during April, when the board approved the BIRs.
Mhm.
And it was, part of the capital fund budget. So 650,000 has, been restricted for this project.
All right, but that's for the base to buy the land.
No, we already bought the land.
No, we've already
All
bought
right,
the
so
land.
let me make sure I get this right, clarity. You've already had, so go back to the map, see how this is growing. So we spent $650 on the land, just for the sake of this conversation. We're gonna spend another, what, $3.4 million, that's their share, and we're gonna put another 600 on top of this for overages, or 700. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
All right. That's my point. It's like it wasn't clear. So now, all right, so what, 650, 713, all right, so James, was that 5.1 million?
So the 3.4 million won't be funded through Douglas County.
I understand, for the sake of the
Oh,
conversation.
for total, yes, sir. Okay.
Did I do that right?
I believe that's correct.
All
Yes,
right,
sir.
roughly 5.1 million. And this is my point, how things, animal shelter, we've got too much experience.
Sure.
Yeah.
We got way too much experience on how things, the scope gets away from us, or we underplay what it's going to cost. Just tell the public what the cost is. And so that we're not caught with it just keeps creeping away from us. That's all. And then when we have these unanticipated, they'll get on us like, well, you didn't plan for that? You didn't think about that? And the point is, well, we did, we just didn't lay it out right. So, Madam Chair, I just wanted to clarify the different buckets. So for the land, construction, and the overages, we just want to do that for the record. That was
Yes.
all. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you. Commissioner Guider?
I'm finished with you. This is on another item. Thank you, Director. We done raked you over the coals too much. Let me see which item is about the insurance. Item number 10. Is there someone here from MSI?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We have John here. Good morning, John.
Hey, good morning.
Thank you for being
It's
here.
John Leggett with MSI Benefits Group.
John, okay. We talked yesterday extensively about what's going to be changed and what's not going to be changed. In a nutshell, would you just kind of recap
Absolutely.
what is in this item here?
Absolutely. Right now, the county is, of course, self-insured. Anthem is the administrator. We go through Anthem for the stop-loss insurance. We go through Anthem's PBM, which is IngenioRx. And we use the Anthem network. And so this year, we were looking at an increase of about $480,000 as it stood remaining with Anthem across the board. And so when we went to market, we looked at a new PBM and the stop-loss insurance. And in the end, changing PBMs was the most beneficial route to go from a cost standpoint. So the only thing that we're looking to change is the pharmacy benefit manager. We will still use Anthem as the administrator, Anthem's network, and the stop-loss will be through Anthem. So ProCare and Veracity will be the new pharmacy benefit manager effective January 1 if you guys approve that.
And it will be a huge savings because we can buy the drugs like from Canada through, so that's going to really cut the cost right there mainly. But we went over a lot of things yesterday, and I'm sure HR is going to be getting with the employees. But first of all, their insurance is not changing.
Right.
As far as the premiums and everything. But this is just on the pharmaceutical side of it, and it is going to mean a huge savings to the county and thus to the employees.
Right, so in a nutshell, we were looking at a budget increase of about $481,000. With this change, we're looking at about $344,000 decrease.
All
So,
right, going through
Doing the math
ProCare.
there, a little over $800,000, I guess $900,000 difference.
But Anthem will still administer it, but it's through ProCare, right?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Anything else that we need to cover about the insurance? Okay,
He summed it up.
with that, I yield back. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Board of Commissioners, if there are no other questions or
Yes,
discussion.
Madam Chair.
Uh-huh.
I have a question
Commissioner
regarding,
Carthen?
I think there has been a change to item number 16,
I can't hear her.
authorization to enter into an MOU for grant writing services with Core Group in the amount of $15,000. And I am going to give that one to
Thank you.
Administrator Stewart Stanley.
Thank you, Commissioner Carthen. So after discussions yesterday, we looked at the contract, and the contract has been amended to, the grant writer will still be providing grant development services. However, the fee structure has changed. The fee structure is now $15,000 for a 60-day period. And she will help us with the successful completion of up to 3 projects for the $15,000. And as we know, the state has set aside $875 million of funding for states, local governments, or for local governments, industries, organizations. So we just want to put our best foot forward to try to have an opportunity to secure some additional ARPA funding to the funding that we've already received from the federal government.
And we also, or at
Number
least I would
10,
like for you to, help the core group to understand that we do need a monthly report of
Yes,
where
ma'am.
they are
I'm sorry.
in regards to their contract.
Yes.
Number 16.
Okay.
I will make
and-
sure that we get those monthly.
Wonderful.
sorry.
And so do we believe that within the 60-day period, we will be able to put forth at least 3 grants, 3 projects?
Yes, now that the scope has been a little bit more defined, I do feel like we can get the 3 grants. Right now, the focus is the broadband infrastructure, transitional housing, and a public library.
Okay.
So those will be the 3 that she will be focused on.
Okay. And to that point, we are in need of a grant writer on staff. Do you know where we are in
Yes.
getting to that
We actually have interviews scheduled for next week.
for next
So,
week?
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. Thank you. And with that, Madam Chair, you.
All right, we have a, thank you so much, Commissioner Carthen. Thank you so much, Commissioners. We have a motion and a second on the floor. We have a motion and a second regarding this consent agenda. Please prepare to cast your vote. Board of Commissioners, we have a 5-0 unanimous vote, and the motion carries. All right, with that being said, that leads us right into our announcements. Board of Commissioners, do you have any particular specific announcements? Commissioner
Yes.
Carthen, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to take a point of personal privilege to say happy birthday to our second daughter, Lauren. She's in D.C. She's at George Washington University, finally getting ready to graduate this December. Thank you, Jesus. It's taken her the 5 to 5.5 year route, but we're so proud of you. So happy birthday, Lauren. And on this Thursday, October 7th at 6:30 p.m., I will be holding a District 3 Town Hall in regards to our HOA communities. Let's talk about safe and effective HOA communities. So I invite all of the citizens to register at our Zoom link, which will be on our website, celebratedouglascounty.com, and also on our Facebook page, Commissioner Carthen, District 3, and also it will be on our Facebook. Okay, so it'll be on Douglas County Happenings Facebook page as well. I know Facebook had a blurb yesterday, so didn't know if it was back up, but you can find it there. We definitely want you to register. We definitely want you to bring your questions. If you are in a HOA, a POA, a COA, and you have questions regarding how you can have a safe community, I know in our planning and zoning, we have had a lot of HOAs to come before us, and they have quite a few ask that they want their developers and their communities and us as a Board of Commissioners they would like for us to address. Our good Commissioner, Vice Chairman of the 2nd District has put forth some HOA language that we can put into our ordinance, and so we are trying to make sure that we're capturing everything that our citizens are asking us for, at least what we can do on a local level. So again, I invite you out this Thursday, October 7th, starting at 6:30, virtual meeting. Please register and sign up on our Celebrate Douglas County or our Facebook Douglas County Happenings Facebook page. Thank you, Madam Chair, and with that, I yield.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Carthen. And Vice Chairman Robinson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I'm just going to dovetail on behind Madam Carthen about yesterday's meeting with the Facebook disruption. Yesterday was an important meeting for us because we, as a board, legislation was dropped for us to discuss compensation. There were several things that was discussed. I would encourage every citizen that hears this to go back and look at that, and hopefully the administration has a plan on how they'll get that information out. But it was very important because we dealt with compensation, specifically with what we call our public safety. Right? None of that got heard yesterday, unless you were inside the actual system. So I want to drive home the point that we're finally taking this up. We're dealing with compensation regarding not just for fire, just EMS. We're talking about E911. We're talking about the coroner. We're talking about animal controls. We're talking about code enforcement and the sheriff. Right? And we proposed something, pretty serious like military, off the top, $1 million dedicated to salaries only, independent of their existing budget that we do. Y'all need to pay attention to that legislation, and we'd love to hear from you regarding this. We get the side comments, we hear the off talk, but we're committed now. We're going to take this up, but we want to hear from the public. All right, we also talked about resetting what we call a living wage. We did propose a living wage for everybody that makes less than living wage with $30,000. What's being proposed is $16.50 an hour. That's up for debate and discussion amongst the 5 of us, and we will work through that as a group. But nonetheless, we're serious about this. And anybody else that we think that needs to be addressed, it will come up during our normal fiscal budgeting cycle. But we're in a good place. We thank you for being patient with us. We know it's something that, for years, it could have been addressed. But this leadership group shows that we can take this up. We've come up with a structure we think is appropriate. Right? We think it's something that's sensitive. We recognize that, yes, we know that there's issues inside the system. Our current structure, you cannot get there. You cannot get there with our existing structure of trying to raise public safety up. You'll have one-time moment that you'll be able to fix it, but after that, you can't get there. And so, I don't want to be delusional about how I speak to you. I'm serious about this. This is serious consideration, and we fundamentally can recalibrate this thing and set it for all-time history. So take a look at that bill. It is available to you. I think County Clerk, you made that available to everybody. I know they're going to put it out there. It's always accessible, but it's something I want you to really take a look at and reach out to all of your commissioners, whomever it may represent your interests, and please talk about that. So I just want to emphasize that there's other things in that bill, but that's the one I want y'all to focus on, because that's something that we just, it's sort of like going to look at the evening news. I'm not going to watch David Muir yesterday, I'm going to watch today. So I had to take courtesy, Madam Chair, just to emphasize y'all need to go look at that, because what we don't want is to come back a week, to a next meeting, and we're voting on it, and you had no clue. You get the point? So we're emphasizing, we're being transparent, we're saying, hey, take a look at this, we want you to get it. Now, yes, we have to do a public notice and public hearing, but the point is, we want to say that we've been talking about this, and again, we just think that it was the professional thing to do. All right, I'm going to move on. Next point is, there is, I think it's what, Behavioral Health Month in Douglas County, Madam Chair? Is that true?
October.
It is October, so with,
Breast cancer awareness as well.
and breast cancer awareness. And so with that being said, I did sign up to sponsor an event. The last week of this month, I'm going to do, as part of that, focus on mental health, but specifically, we're going to focus on depression. So I am going to do a hybrid town hall. We're going to talk about depression. I tackle a lot of things regarding mental health, whether it's, dealing with teens, dealing with a lot of other issues that go on with that. But depression is something, in light of the pandemic, is serious. So I'm working with our CSB, Ray Lightford. We appreciate his support regarding that and his team, and we're going to talk about this, because those are the things that are not being said on Facebook, but in essence, it is. Right? Not only is the impact from social media and the depression with our teens, but think about with adults. And think about with the pandemic and the economics and things that are not being said. So we're going to get deep into this depression and reading the signs that come along with that and the issues that are associated and how to cope with that, because it's real. Some of our behavior, the passive aggressiveness is popping off. They're just now studying it because we're living in it right now, but at some point, the book, the journal, the publication will come out and say, this is the true effects of what happened now. So we want to be a little bit proactive in the moment and talk about these things. So again, the date, Assistant Director Tiffany Stewart, what was the date we picked? October 24th?
I believe it's October, hold on one second, I can give it to you.
Please confirm.
October 28th at 6:30 p.m.
All right, October 28th, 6:30. So that's locked and loaded. So again, stay tuned to that and we'll come out with more information. Madam Chair, I yield the floor to you.
Okay. Commissioner Mitchell?
Yes, just one, Madam Chair, and this would be for Mr. Martin. I don't know if you want to come and help me with this. Due to our friends at Facebook and everywhere else with the issues that were going on, are we going to be able to capture, because that legislative piece, that was the entire meeting was important, but that piece is extremely important. Are we going to be able to at least capture that from our normal audio and video and post it so that those citizens can go back and review, or that's not happening because we didn't capture it that way? You tell me.
In reference to the work session yesterday, right,
Yes,
sir?
I'm sorry, the work session, yes.
That's okay. Sure. And it is one of my announcements. We are working, we've recorded yesterday's work session. And in recording it, we have it in the meeting from Zoom where we had the meeting. It's going to be put together and made available before the end of the day today on our YouTube channel, DCTV 23 YouTube, and it will be available on our website. A link will be provided on our website, celebratedouglascounty.com, for the entire public and any citizen or anyone to see.
Great.
Yeah.
So the good part is it will be available.
Yes, sir.
And what's most important, that it is available. And the other part of this is that we need to stress that for those who may have missed, please go and review this, and especially that legislative piece that's within there, that's really, really important. Because when it does become a voting session, I don't want those to say, we wasn't transparent, didn't have any idea about it, nobody told me, and so on. So for those of us, on your end, just make sure you stress the mere fact of it is available, where the availability is to those citizens that may even make the request. And I would even suggest that you send out a mass email notice about this availability for those who can capture it from that perspective, if by chance they miss it from any other direction that you send. But do any and everything that you can to reassure that those that didn't get it or didn't hear it or didn't see it will have the availability to do it, okay?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. I
Yes,
yield
sir.
back.
With that being, you good? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I was just checking with Commissioner Bowers, she's good too. Okay, you may proceed, Communications Director.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam
Announcements?
Chair.
Mhm.
Good morning, Board of Commissioners. Good morning, and staff as well, County Attorney Bernard. Just a few more announcements to mention. In light of the pandemic, free COVID-19 testing is continuing to be offered at Deer Lick Park, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. For more information, you can visit douglasvillecovid.com. For more information, the public is invited to call the COVID-19 call center at 1-833-974-3366. That's 1-833-974-3366. The public is also invited to attend an upcoming virtual community meeting regarding the Douglas County Comprehensive Transportation Plan, otherwise known as the CTP. Director Miguel has been working on this as well. Miguel Valentin. It's taking place on Thursday, October 6th at 6 p.m. via Zoom. Public's invited to visit our website, celebratedouglascounty.com, to register for the meeting as well. And that concludes today's announcements. I yield back to you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you so much, Communications Director.
Chair?
Yes.
Before you close out, yes.
Yes.
Is Director Valentin here, Madam Chair?
He is.
Okay, we missed him last week because he was on vacation, but Miguel, I need you to come talk about this comprehensive transportation plan announcement and give a little bit more detail on that. I've been waiting for you to come back from vacation, so can you highlight what this is about? Because this is important. I know they're coming to the end of their study.
Good morning, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Yes, the CTP is a comprehensive look at the needs of Douglas County as it relates to transportation infrastructure. And it has been an ongoing process over the last year. We are getting towards the end of the process. We have been able to do an assessment of the existing infrastructure, done an analysis of the needs, and now we are ready to present the recommendations for projects throughout the county that will address those needs. The comprehensive plan deals with transportation road projects, transit projects, sidewalk, trails, multimodal, all the different modes are addressed. This coming Thursday would be the last public meeting where we're seeking the input of the public as it relates to the recommendations and the findings. Now, all of the information related to the analysis, to the review, to the findings is available on the website, douglascountyctp.com. So you can review all of the information, all of the reports, and all of the recommendations. But this would be an opportunity for the public to provide input for the last time as it relates to the comprehensive plan. The goal is to have the plan finalized and before the board for adoption by the end of October, early November. One of the important things to note is that any project that is going to seek either state or federal funding must be listed in the CTP. So it is important for the public, if they're aware of a project that they want to have addressed, that they participate and give us the input so we can include it in the plan.
Great. So I'm glad I took a moment to pause on this because I need everybody here, especially my peers, pay attention to the timeline. End of October, beginning of November, we're going to be adopting this CTP. I know we've got federal money. We've got all these plans running around. Back to alignment. Right? I know we have our own independent HOAs. We've got our own independent town halls, our own independent conversations. Like, are y'all paying attention to this? And we're talking about big money, federal grants. We got grant writers coming online. So I'm hoping that they're aligned with pursuing stuff that's important to our plans to be qualified. I just need assurance. This is more, you've been gone. It's okay, Miguel. But I'm driving home a point. Alignment of these plans. Now, I'm listening, but I mean, if we're going to leverage our capital stack, our local money, the grant money we got from the ARP, plus anything else we're pursuing, it's got to be on the list. And I just don't want anybody to be on the wrong side of this and that they didn't understand, they didn't know. So this is professional courtesy to my peers. That's why, Miguel, we broke a little rank right here. We took privilege and courtesy, Madam Chair, because we need to emphasize this point. He said that at the end of October, beginning of November, we're going to be adopting this plan. I want to make sure that everybody's aware of that timeline. We've got the citizens give their last input this coming Thursday. Please get on that. But at the same point, pay attention, guys. Align your plans. I don't want to hear about sidewalks. We didn't get this on the list. They wasn't. All right, gravel pits, whatever, mulch, whatever you're looking for, make sure it's on the list and that your citizens weighed in. I had to drive home that point. Thank you, Miguel. Madam Chair, you have the floor.
All right, thank you
Watch
so
some
much,
time to
Director
get back.
Valentine. All right, and welcome back.
Madam Chair.
Okay, Commissioner Mitchell?
Yes, just one thing. I think we got a small correction. I don't know if Rick want to make this correction about your dates on the CPT Thursday meeting. I think you've got the 6th versus, I think it's the 7th, or unless I'm off with my dates. Rick Martin? Because today is the 5th. Tomorrow's the 6th. So the 7th, is that my thought, or is it?
So the CTP, it's on the 6th. Wednesday the
It's
6th,
So it's
tomorrow.
Wednesday the 6th, so it's not Thursday then, so it's Wednesday the 6th.
Wednesday the 6th.
Okay, correction, okay,
Wednesday, October 6th.
okay. So we were saying Thursday though, so,
Correct. But
Thank
it's Wednesday, October 6th.
okay, so I just want you to make that correction. I know that something was incorrect in either the day or the date.
Absolutely.
Very good.
And we'll correct that and update. And it'll be reiterated after this meeting to make sure people are aware.
So for clarity, Wednesday, tomorrow, the
Wednesday?
6th.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Wednesday, October 6th.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
To that point, Madam Guy, what were you saying about?
I said it's on our calendar wrong, too.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, we will get that
Yeah.
taken care of. Thank you. All right. Any
And
other
thank you,
announcements,
Commissioner
Board?
Carthen.
Okay, thank you all. Well, if there are no other announcements, I'll just close by saying my typical, certainly about the pandemic, and certainly this, we're still full-blown here in Douglas County with the pandemic, and I certainly will end just for a moment, because we will be going into recess until 6 p.m. for our joint planning and zoning meeting tonight, Board of Commissioners. But I do stand to be corrected for yesterday. I must have just been wishful thinking about our vaccination rate here in Douglas County. I mentioned to the Board of Commissioners and the citizens that we're at 48%. And I always, someone told me, I heard it in the air, but I believe in trust but verify. So I had to look at the numbers yesterday. We're at 35%. So with that being said, we have 35 more yards to make up on this, on the field. So we have still quite a way. So we're just 50% in terms of that 70% rate that we're looking at, that herd immunity rate. So just wanted to correct myself publicly to say that I was just celebrating on the 1 yard line too early. So with that being said, Board of Commissioners and the citizens, I encourage you to continue to watch your social distancing, wear a mask in public, and certainly, of course, wash your hands repeatedly throughout the day. And we still are urging you and to consider the vaccine if that's something that you want to entertain. That would be something that would help us reach our herd immunity status. If there's nothing else to come before this body at this time, we will certainly recess for tonight's 6 p.m. meeting, and I will see you at 6 p.m., Board of Commissioners. Thank you.
Is it in person?